which is communication. So I'll be starting it with in the end I'll be knowing if you really understood what I have tried to pass on to you. I'll start with the with a phrase where we have emphasized on planning. So planning is nothing but to bring the future things into today and do something about it now. So, hello, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Yogesh. So, I'll be telling you two stories where I'll be sharing the my experience as to how important is planning. But then you also have to make out the difference between a planning and no over planning things. So I'll start with the with one story, which is obviously my story. When I completed my 12th, I was to figure out what I should be doing now. So as all of my friends were doing BTech, I opted for BSc. But then there only I realized that what I'm going to do is what I was going to do there I have to write everything in English. But I was from a Hindi medium background, so and it was in the beginning of the year. So those days there was no semester exams. There was only one annual exam that you have to appear in the end of the year, and people used to study for 3 months only. That too only the last 3 months. We never used to study for the entire year. We only used to study for the last 3 months. But then I realized that the difficult part for me was to write everything in English because I was from Hindi medium background. So I started from the very first day. When there was no teacher used to ask me, "Why are you coming? Nobody is here. Come in September or in October or maybe in December. We'll start the class then. By the time you'll have your examination, we'll finish everything." But then I said, like, I don't know how to answer things in English. So they asked me to practice it then. So I used to practice how to answer in English. In that process, I learned everything. So what happened in the end, when I went out for physics, chemistry exams, the format of the exam was there were 11 questions. You only have to attempt 5. But the problem with me was I knew all the 11 answers. So the difficult part for me was to figure out which 5 I should be attempting. And you won't believe, despite knowing everything, I ended up securing only 60% marks. Because every time when I used to complete my paper, I used to think, oh, I did a mistake. I should have opted something else. I should have done this, that answer. I could have done that thing better. So that over planning, I mean, it was an over planning, obviously. That over planning resulted me into getting only average marks, so 60% marks. In that way, it was obviously a bad experience for me. Year after those years, I did not do that. But then when I completed, now the second part of the story starts. When I done with my graduation, I prepared myself for several other exams that society does. And on one day when I was playing cricket, I came to know there was a form for doing MCA and MBA. And on the cricket ground only, I discussed it with my friend. Should I be doing MCA or MBA? So he said, like, the form was like this, that you can do both the things. You only have to take both the options. You have to appear for both the exams and then decide what you really want to do. But then, because it was the last day, I had to fill the form that day only and have to hand it over to this university physically. I had no time. So I went there, and in the queue of submitting my form, I was discussing it with somebody, some unknown people. They made me realize that if you go for MCA, at least you will be a teacher. At least you will be a teacher at a private engineering college. I thought, okay, maybe I was undermining myself, obviously. So I did, okay, but then I was not aware of computers. I did not even know how to switch it on. So the idea clicked to me. I only opted MCA. But then I realized the exam is only 15 days away. And the format of the exam is like 65 questions from maths, 35 from reasoning, 65 questions have statistics, dynamics, arithmetic, algebra, calculus, coordinate. Reasoning is only one type. So for coordinate and calculus, I was aware of. Rest of the things I did not touch. I know I don't have time. For reasoning, I only focused on reasoning. I planned on the very first day what I can do, what all I can do, and what all I can't. So this again is a very nice experience of my life. I appeared at the exam through 100 questions. I only attempted 48. 48 questions were there. All 35 questions I attempted from reasoning, and only 11, 12 questions I attempted from maths. You won't believe that exam was attended by more than 2 lakhs of students, and I was having a general ranking of 362. Right? So that was an example of a clear planning as to what you are. Your current planning is based on your capabilities. You did not look for a fancy thing. You did not assume yourself as a kind of person who can achieve everything. But then, based on what you currently know, you planned out something and you achieved that goal. That's the thing. I would end up my speech with a note that it's such a good thing to say this. If you really fail to plan, you are planning to fail. That's it. Thank you.